The Turkish Getup Phase 2. This is the next step in learning the entire getup. So what we're gonna do now is actually sweep the leg underneath and start learning how to hinge at our hips and find the best position for our knee to align with our hip, along with our shoulders aligning with the kettlebell in our hand. So we're gonna go through phase 1 really quickly, and then we're gonna show all the bits and pieces for phase 2. So we're lying down, whatever leg is bent, the same arm is holding our imaginary kettlebell, hand out to about 45 degrees. So phase 1, we're up onto the elbow, up to the hand. Now what we're gonna do with this hand, we're gonna slide it nice and close to our body. You wanna make sure that this shoulder doesn't drop, it's still up, we have good posture. Now we're gonna lift those hips up as high as possible. We're gonna take this leg underneath. This position here is key. A lot of people make the mistake of when they sweep the leg through, they go too far this way. And what's gonna happen is if I have a kettlebell that's heavy, I'm gonna collapse on myself on that hip. You wanna make sure that this knee right here is underneath that hip. And now I'm solid, I'm not going anywhere if I have a heavy kettlebell. The other thing I see is people, when they come up, they don't drive their hip high enough, and then they slide their leg really tough through to get to that position. So I always tell people to think of exaggerating, pushing your hip towards the ceiling, really driving it up, so the sweep underneath is super easy. The other thing you want to look at is where this foot is in relation to this knee. Because sometimes when people come up, this leg might slide in. So you want to make sure this foot is grounded as hard as possible, so you have 3 points of contact that is really going to stabilize you through the movement. Now the very last thing is when you come back, you want to make sure that the transition back to phase 1 and lying down flat is really smooth. So now, because we had our hands sliding close to our bodies to give us that leverage, we have to slide the hand out, come back down to the elbow, and then lie down. So I'm gonna go through the entire motion one more time, just so you can see it. So, step by step. Elbow, hand, shoulder is still in neutral. We're sliding the hand, lifting that hip, sweeping the leg, sweep the leg back, sit down, the shoulder's still in good position, slide the hand, down to the elbow, and then we're lying flat. So if you follow all that advice, all those steps, one by one, really slowly, you'll have a good looking Turkish getup in phase 2 and eventually work up to the full getup.